The Japanese manga artist with a French accent, the lakeside location that seduced many a filmmaker, and Spielberg's ultimate origin story. That's all coming up in today's show. We're starting with the American director himself. Steven Spielberg's latest film, The Fabelmans, hits theatres in the US this week, and expectations are high. The movie's loosely based on Spielberg's own childhood and his early passion for filmmaking. Catherine Katir-Clifford has more.
Movies are dreams.
The Fabelmans traces Steven Spielberg's love affair with film
that you never forget.
Right back to its beginnings. Walking the red carpet at the LA premiere, the director said he believed the story of his upbringing had universal merit.
I think I'm always vulnerable in terms of the movies I've made, but this is a very personal story. It's the first time I've taken privacy public.
The lights change how everything looks. It's hard to find our house.
Ours is the dark house with no lights.
The film follows the fictional character Sammy Fabelman, loosely based on a young Spielberg, as he pursues his passion for cinema and unearths a dark family secret.
What kind of movie are we gonna make?
Along the way, we see polished interpretations of the films Spielberg made in his early teens.
When you get Janusz Kaminski and me together, even when we're trying to make something look amateurish, we had a really hard time doing that. So I promise you, my old movies are a lot worse than the little movies that we recreated for the Fabelmans.
For Michelle Williams and Paul Dano, the actors playing the director's parents, the honor and responsibility of their roles was deeply felt.
You know, all of the women that I play, you feel like an incredible responsibility, probably a little bit more when you're playing somebody who really walked the earth, because you really want to honor their memory and you want to be a conduit for their spirit.
But my heart, truly leapt because to see Steven at this point in his career make this film, it felt sort of bold and brave and different, and it was clear how much of his heart was on the line. And to be asked to play his father, I mean, I'm truly still comprehending that.
Please, that'll break your
Now airing in the US, The Fabelmans will be released here in Europe in early 2023. A glimpse at the renowned director's roots and the talent and passion that propelled him to produce classic films like E.T., Schindler's List, or Jurassic Park.
What was your favorite part?
Well, you may have seen it in a James Bond movie or even in Star Wars. Sitting at the edge of Italy's Lake Como, Villa Balbianello is a true architectural jewel, and it's inspired artists and writers for centuries. Laurent Bertochet and Monty Francis bring us this report.
Nestled in the rocky hillside, Villa Balbianello almost appears to float above Lake Como. This unique piece of architecture was built on the ruins of a 13th century monastery. Giuliano Galli is its current custodian.
It's better to arrive by boat. From here, you get the best view of the villa's architecture. Look how incredible it is. Imagine monks coming through here 800 years ago. It's really a magical place.
Ciao, Igor. Galli heads the Italian Heritage Trust, which manages the villa. The former monastery was transformed into a manor in the 17th century, and it stayed the same ever since. Its lush gardens and terraces have been a source of inspiration for some of Hollywood's greatest directors. George Lucas shot parts of Star Wars Episode II on this balcony, while Daniel Craig's James Bond sat just a few meters away in Casino Royale.
I even helped them with the shoot. I was crouching there, holding a light reflector. You can almost see me in the official photo. The little dot right there, I think that's me.
The villa was gifted to the Italian Heritage Fund by its last owner, Guido Manzini. It now welcomes over 120,000 visitors each year who come from across the world to marvel at its beauty.
The water, the views, the plants, everything together makes it like perfect setting.
Everything is exactly where it should be. It's a true paradise on Earth.
A picture-perfect postcard setting that could continue to inspire artists and lovers for centuries to come.
Well, to books now, and one genre that's often been overlooked, mangas. These Japanese comics are extremely popular in France, and they've inspired a new generation of local storytellers. Reno Lemaire is one of France's best-known manga artists. His series Dreamland has sold over 700,000 copies worldwide, and he's now decided to rework the first tomes of that series. Reno Lemaire went to meet him.
The word manga has long been synonymous with Japanese culture. But not all manga artists are born in the land of the rising sun. Reno Lemaire is as French as they get.
I don't come from an artistic family. I had never set foot in a library before I was published. I drew my first comic at age 7. Today, I'm 40. I'm from this generation that grew up watching Japanese anime. Goldorak was the first thing I ever drew. My style is very Japanese because I grew up in that environment.
Aujourd'hui, Goldorak dans le lac embrasé.
In 2006, Lemaire published his first manga, Dreamland, and it was an instant success.
What's special about Terence is how he's always smiling with his eyes closed. It makes you want to follow this little guy.
A shy teenager by day, Terence Mayer can visit the world of dreams at night. His adventures have been followed by readers across the globe. And with 700,000 copies of the manga sold, Lemaire recently decided to remaster the first few volumes of the saga.
I began reading it again from the start. I saw things that worked well, and it helped me understand which aspects of the story were drawing readers in. But I also saw flaws and mistakes in these first few books, and it really stuck with me. It was all I could think about. It was painful. I did improve, especially with rhythm and dialogue.
In recent years, French mangas have encountered a growing success, but for Lemaire, nationality has little to do with it.
Some call it the French touch, but I disagree. Artists all have their own vision. They want to tell a different story. If I had to name this trend, I would call it the non-Japanese touch. It's not necessarily about being French or wanting to publish in French, but we are doing things differently than in Japan.
Inspired by Japanese culture, but with his own style and vision, Reno Lemaire doesn't have anything to prove. Fans of his work will soon be able to follow the adventures of Terence on screen, with the Dreamland animated series set to premiere in 2024.
Now to a painter who was already ahead of his time when figurative art was the style of the day. Claude Monet's Impressionist paintings have another avant-garde detail. The 19th century artist wanted his work to be immersive. A new exhibition in New York has taken that to the next level, creating a digitally enhanced experience of Monet's water lilies and bucolic landscapes. Visitors get a full sensory experience. There are floral aromas floating through the air, and they can even create some of the art themselves. The show's producer explains.
You actually get to paint your own water lily and scan it and add it to the installation here under our bridge. And you also get to see how his work is digitally in a way, and you can interact with it and go on and experience more.
And staying with the power of images, the French capital is once again host to the landmark photography event Paris Photo. For its 25th year, the fair invited guest of honour actress Rossi de Palma to make a personal selection of her favourite prints. There's also a special focus on female photographers, with 77 different women's work in the spotlight. That's in addition to work presented by galleries from all over the world. We'll leave you with some of the highlights. Otherwise, do remember to check out our website for more arts and culture, and there's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.